One of Nigeria's most outstanding performing ministers under the present political dispensation is Chief Barrister Nyesom Wike, the Minister of State for Education and the immediate past Supervising Minister of Education. He is an astute politician, a grassroots mobilizer, an accomplished administrator, and a development enthusiast.
The mere fact that somebody was there yesterday, the person did not do it, does not mean that somebody will not do it today. The mere fact that some presidents have been here and nothing has happened does not mean that today the president will not do it. So let them watch and see what kind of actions that they will see in the next few months. So be rest assured that we are different from what used to be. That's why we're talking about transformation. If we are not ready, we wouldn't have used the word transformation. We know that something is wrong, and so we have to move to the next stage by changing what used to be. So let them be rest assured that we are not coming here to make promises.
Al-Majri education is not an Islamic education, because the word Al-Majri sounds like Islam. It's not an Islamic education. When it was conceived by the administration of Mr. President Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, it was intended to mop out those children that are roaming the streets in the name of begging, because the transformation agenda, education transformation agenda of Mr. President includes mopping up of those children that are roaming the streets, because Mr. President is giving priority to education right from the grassroots.
You have a man who has identified with you at your trying moment. His schedule and responsibility as a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is to provide basic education, functional for that matter. He has remembered you. I want to tell you that if you give him a higher and better challenge that will have direct bearing on you, no more helicopter, no more boat to this island. Thank you.
Chief Barrister Nyesom Wike is an iconic performer with an enviable record of performance, which spans over 15 years of public service, laced with administrative and developmental innovations that have changed the fortunes of his locations of primary assignment. It is a known fact that wherever Barrister Wike has been opportune to serve, the beneficiaries have remained eternally grateful because of the commitment and insight that he brings to bear on the discharge of his responsibilities.
It is the passion and commitment Mr. President has for this country. If you are working with a boss who is committed to seeing that his country develops or get to the next stage where other developed nations are, that of course you who is working with him will be prepared, will be moved in order to see that their boss achieves his set standard. And as regards to education, Mr. President has always said that we cannot talk about development without our education being globally competitive. And therefore, if we must meet up to be in the community of nations that talk about development, then we must move our education step talk about meeting the standard of globally competitive with other nations. So if you have that kind of responsibility, and you see that the man who gave you the appointment is quite committed, I have passion for it, obviously you cannot be lagging behind. So the propelling force is Mr. President because of his commitment and his passion.
As chairman of Obioakpo local government area of Rivers State, Barrister Wike acquitted himself excellently, emerging as one of the best performing council administrators in the entire country. His achievements are still being celebrated in the council area, where he still enjoys a dedicated followership amongst appreciative constituents. It was his dedicated and productive service to Obioakpo that compelled council chairmen from all the 774 local government areas in Nigeria to elect Barrister Wike as their national chairman, Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, ALGON. Nigerians are still benefiting from the exploits of Barrister Wike as Algon National Chairman in the areas of security, primary healthcare, rural development and youth empowerment. Barrister Wike's 4-year sojourn as the Chief of Staff, Government House, Rivers State, proved to be the most beneficial years in the life of the state under the current dispensation. He provided the political and administrative platform that engendered stability, development and inclusive politicking.
We are about the first state in the Federation to formally commence the bilingual school system in the country. And we have to thank you most sincerely for the support you have given to the government and people of Borno State by setting up the Almajiri schools across the state. We got the highest allocation, along with Katsina, Sokoto, and Kano, on the number of Almajiri schools to be established across the country.
Let me also commend the Honorable Minister in the efforts you are making through some of your agencies, particularly the UBEC, the TET Fund, and of recent, the Almajiri Initiative. You will believe how much integration these efforts is given to the educational system. And I'm sure if the states will partner and collaborate with your ministry and your initiative, I'm sure the desired transformation that we so dearly require in the educational system will be a matter of time.
You mentioned the issue of the Almajiris, and I'm very, very appreciative of the fact that when I was discussing with you and the Executive Secretary about having more Almajiri schools, you promised to give us one, and later with our discussion you have helped us. And I think with this, we must place on record that you have made the biggest deposit in our educational bank account. Thank you.
Today, Chief Barrister Wike is Nigeria's Minister of State for Education. He has been since July 14, 2011. He has brought practical transformation and character to the office, ensuring that an office that was hitherto unknown has become the cornerstone of educational empowerment and the revival of basic education in the country.
I am happy to report that the tempo of government activities has neither diminished nor has the enthusiasm of our people for good governance dampened. Our determination to lift the people from the morass of poverty and denial remains as high as ever.
For the first time in the history of this country, through this minister here, a president has recognized the problem of children in Nigeria. 10-point-something million out of school, and about 9 million of them in northern part of Nigeria. And he has completed 300 schools for the Almajiri children as I'm talking to you now. At least 120 of them have already been commissioned. 300 unprecedented secondary schools built for children in the north already.
Well, thank you for being part of here, and I assure you, a traditional right that witness to this, every